So very recently, there was an article written in ProPublica, and it was written by a very highly esteemed journalist. His name is Eric Umansky, and I have Eric Umansky with us today to give us all a look into his entire expose on the CRT team, because this was a fascinating read, and I'm sure plenty of people want to hear more about it. So, Eric, welcome to the Sal Greco Show. Thanks for coming on. How are you today?
Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Eric, I'm going to tell you, I saw you a couple of days ago. You were on Errol Lewis. It was pretty good. And, I know people may have their own opinions about Errol Lewis. I respect him a lot. I actually like what some of the stuff he puts out. And but it was only 9 minutes you had on. So yeah. There's a lot of questions that people are asking about this article because it was very detailed. I know you did it, it seems that you did a lot of work on this. So can you tell us, how'd you start this? How long this investigation was? Because it almost reads like a chapter in a book. It's so long.
Yeah. So I've been reporting on the NYPD for a few years now. And I actually did a story about a year and a half ago about the issue of body-worn cameras overall. When I was reporting on that story, a former senior official said to me, there's a unit that's operated off the books, and you should really look into that unit. And I said, oh, well, sure. What's the name of that unit? And she said, well, I don't know the name of the unit, but I know that they are not organized as they should be and have therefore gone under the radar. And that's quite enticing. So over the next few months, I kept kind of asking around and talking to people. And there was this one unit that was this sort of interesting mix, because on the one hand, they made these, what I call sizzle reels. They made these YouTube videos and Instagram videos set to like pouncing music, like video game music or movie.
New York City Police Department, come to the door!
And just remember where you are. Tactics, crossfire.
Get up!
Get the dog, search the car, get the insurance, and back the up.
All right, now! We got a kill on the loose!
All right, so let's go. Gotta be the building. What is that? A little cocaine is not that.
Soundtrack showing the unit in operation. But on the other hand, people were telling me that they had never been given a command code, or hadn't been given a command code for months, and that officers were often assigned to the team or working on the team without actually being formally assigned to it, what's known as telephone transfers. And what that means when all that comes together is it's actually really hard to track the conduct of this unit. And when I started calling around about it, and I just was calling around to some folks I had talked to over the years, somebody said to me, well, you know how close it is to the mayor? And I thought, well, not really. No, I don't really know. And they started sort of laying out how the mayor has repeatedly gone out with the team, how most fundamentally it's the mayor's buddies who run the team. And I just kind of went from there. And honestly, there was a period of time where they would tell me an example of that, and I would think that can't possibly be true. One person would tell you it. And in journalism, in our world, if one person tells you something, it's intriguing, but it's not actually proof enough, right? You need at least two people to tell you something in order to cite it. And then, lo and behold, I hear from a second person. And I think like, I'll be damned, right here for a third or fourth to get records. And it just was like, this is really an example. The mayor, as we've seen in all sorts of ways, has run his administration through cronyism, right? Not through who is the best for the job, but who he knows the best. Obviously, it's not every position, but in many positions, it's who he has a relationship with. And what this seems to be is who he has a relationship, and letting them be in charge of this team that in turn would route around the normal chain of command, right? When Keechant Sewell was commissioner about a year and a half ago, she got enormously frustrated because people like Kaz Daughtry, who you referenced, would not listen to Keechant Sewell, not listen to the commissioner, even though the commissioner is their boss, his boss. Instead, he would call up the mayor and say, someone's giving me pushback, and can I tell them that you're on my side? That kind of thing, right? And that doesn't help an organization to be accountable and in good order.
I see. Actually, it is a nice comment from Nighthawk for you. We need more reporters like this to investigate the crimes in NYPD that are internal affairs, choose to hide and evade from accountability. Eric, there seems to be a problem here. What you're saying already, there's a broken link with all this, because you're right. You're supposed to report things. There's the glaring factor here you wrote about, right? Is there was legal bureau personnel with them. And I believe the article you were stating how they were there and they were telling them not to do. And if all of a sudden, if they intervened, which I thought Eric Adams said, if they were there, whatever they say, my office is going to follow. All of a sudden, like you just referenced, Kaz Daughtry is there and he's calling the mayor to intervene in that. How did that even come about?
Yeah, so CRT was a new effort, and by the way, I mean I should say, because you mentioned the creation of CRT. So CRT started as such an ad hoc effort, as such a non-codified, non-formal effort that even people at the NYPD didn't know it existed. It's not quite that it was secret. It's just that just these guys knew, and they didn't tell the other guys and the other women. And so they would just sort of go out on their patrol. And I think as a way of trying to keep things under control, the NYPD the legal bureau said, okay, we're going to send a lawyer or two out with you guys. And I think actually at first Kaz thought it was like, that's cool, we can show how great the work we're doing is. And then the lawyers would say, and this wasn't, you're beating the hell out of somebody. It was, more kind of everyday stuff. You just gave a summons to somebody who there was no reason to do that, right? It was an unnecessary or even illegal summons. Or you trespassed on somebody's private property. You don't actually have the power to do that. But, doing things by the book, right? They said, you guys need to do things by the book. And so according to one account I have, this lawyer was there and, raised this red flag. And Kaz said, okay, I'm going to call up the mayor. And calls up the mayor and says, these, pencil guys are trying to stop me from doing the good work that is your good work, Mr. Mayor. And the mayor says, give me the lawyer's name. And then further says, I want to know if the lawyers are offering the law or their opinion. Right now, that has a chilling effect. And the lawyer said, well, my opinion is my opinion. It is, I'm trying to follow the law. But what ended up happening was that Kaz said, yes, you guys, officers, continue doing what you were doing, right? Follow So it has a real chilling effect, and people, by the way, begin to know which way the wind is blowing, right? If you're in a meeting and you're talking about officers from CRT, and or actually, I'll give you another example that lawyers and others within the NYPD flagged. I was talking about these promotional videos that they made, right? Well, again, oversight officials within NYPD, such as lawyers, were taken by surprise that these videos even existed. And then they looked at them and said, these things are problematic, right? You guys are doing things here not the right way. And Kaz said, basically, he complained to the mayor and more or less said, I don't have to listen to you. And then there was a negotiation about, well, let's just do this right going forward. We're going to vet it and so forth. And that's fine and that's reasonable. But what Kaz said was, I want to make clear from the get-go, the mayor likes these things and that these are important to the mayor. So now the whole debate is not, should we do them or not? It's, let's make these things because the mayor wants these things and make them in a way that can work for everybody. It's a kind of, you get to put your thumb on the scale. And that's what happened a number of times. Yeah.
I want to point this out. I think it's glaring is that Eric Adams, who's for and against everything, he always states this numerous times. When a corporation counsel or one of those lawyers advise him on something, he can't go against what they advise. And then he's out there. I believe he's suing the Trump administration for $80 million with the migrant funding or all that money he wanted. In that instance, he's ordering them to do something. So in one instance, he's saying, I have to follow them and follow the law. In the other instance, he's dictating to them because, again, he's the head. He's the mayor. They all work for him. And he's saying, you have to do this. So in this instance, what you're saying is he actually got on the phone and told Kaz Daughtry, is this a fact or opinion of the lawyer? He said that. He said he wants to know if it's a fact or an opinion of a lawyer.
I mean, that is our understanding. That is our understanding of it. I will say we went to the mayor. We asked everything here to the mayor, to DCTI, i.e. the NYPD. And what the mayor's office said was exactly actually what you just said, which is that the mayor has always advised essentially underlings, those who work for him, that they should follow the lawyer's advice. And so we reflected that in the story. This is what we've been told. This is what he said.
In fact, someone just referenced here, TC says, Kaz became Judge Dredd. I am the law. You just watched the latest clip from the Sal Greco show. If you want to watch the full episode, click the link below. And while you're at it, please hit the like, share, subscribe button. And don't forget to click the notification button also.